Hey everybody, Tesla just announced they're releasing the summer update, the 2025.26 release. It's coming out very soon. I'm gonna go over all the features that are being included and those that you may or may not be receiving in your Tesla. First things first is something that I am very proud to say I had a direct impact on, or indirect, if you want to put it that way. My mother went to pick up a brand new Model Y in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this was back in April this year. She was so overwhelmed when she picked up her car and she expected a hands-on experience. When she didn't get that, she had a meltdown in the parking lot. I have a whole video all about that experience, but let me just tell you this, Tesla took note. A lot of people followed up with me. They were very eager to help her out, and they really made things right. Now, not everybody has the best experience. However, it's very important, especially for a brand new Tesla owner, to be welcomed into the family and to not feel as overwhelmed as my mom was on pickup day. And that's exactly what Tesla has done here. They're including now an onboarding guide inside of the car. This goes over all of the settings inside of your car so you're not overwhelmed when you first sit inside of it. It talks about seat adjustments. It's going to go over the screen and the climate change, all the settings inside of the car, especially those that you need to drive your brand new car. Now, in the release notes that Tesla launched today on Saturday, July 12th, 2025, they mention that this is applicable to brand new Model Ys and Model 3s, and it's also applicable to left-hand drive vehicles. So what else is included inside of here? Well, we're told that lighting controls are in here, autopilot settings, adjusting the steering wheel, those basic things when you first get into your car. Probably gonna go over the chill and the standard acceleration, maybe the navigation, some of these things that are crucial to knowing how to drive your brand new car. Obviously, with these newer cars, with the drive stalk and everything being on the screen, that's going to be a big part of the driving experience. So let's all take a quick pause and just say thank you to my mom for having this added. This is huge. Tesla, you're awesome for listening and improving this experience for all new owners. Another thing that's been added is charging info at arrival. It looks like this is applicable to valet services or services where you just really need to have an extra piece of security, extra information when you go to charge. There are some icons included now to indicate valet only or pay to park. There's also notifications for pay to park that will pop up on the screen. Parking floor and access code information will show up, and all details will be easily accessible in the site card. What that means is the card that shows up for the supercharger station that you're stopping at or for the charging station that you've selected to end at. Another welcome change is an update to the Dashcam viewer. Now, there were a lot of these packed into the spring update, but it looks like now we'll be able to change the speed as well as zoom in to the videos that are captured. The Cybertruck also gets an updated Dashcam viewer app with a grid view for easier access and review of recordings. It looks like there's also going to be an update to the audio settings. So if you go to the controls menu and you select audio, you're now going to have an option to select sync lights with music. So this is pretty cool for those cars, the newer cars that have the LED light bar all across the perimeter inside of the car. You're now going to be able to sync that with your music. Previously, this was only possible with third-party accessories. So this is really great for those that love to listen to music and love driving at night. Personally, I'm a fan of this feature. I'm gonna have to agree with Kalina Brown. You can also sync the lights by going into the toy box and selecting the light sync. They've added a whole nother area called light sync. And when you go inside of there, you can turn it off or turn it on. When you turn it on, you get an option to sync accent lights with music. And then you also get the option to match the album art color, which is pretty cool. So if you really love an album that has a lot of red color in it, the lights will kind of flash and blink as a red color. And there's one other called Rave Cave Max Brightness. This is really great if you love to have this extremely bright light setting. Let's see what it says underneath here. Your own personal nightclub while parked. So it looks like that's only going to work while you're parked. and you're going to get that max brightness level setting. Obviously, when you're driving, if they're at maximum brightness, that could be a little bit of a distraction. So it makes sense that they've only allowed you to turn that on when you're in park. In addition to off and on, you can also have it set to night only. So that's pretty cool if you don't want your lights dancing along during the daytime. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you can't even see them anyway. This is applicable to the new Model 3 Highlands as well as the Model Y Junipers and any refresh new 2026 Model S or Model X, in addition to the Cybertrucks. Basically any car that has that light bar along the perimeter of the vehicle. And the last update that I think a lot of people are most excited about that Elon mentioned is coming next week with this update supposedly here is Grok inside of their Tesla. So what is Grok? If you're not familiar with Grok, it is basically a large language model. It's artificial intelligence where you can interact with it. There's a standalone app. You can also use it within the X, or formerly Twitter, app. Now, you can use this over a web page, but essentially it's like ChatGPT. You can ask it a number of questions. A lot of people are replacing Google with Grok. You can ask it about the weather. You can ask it about a schedule that you're creating for a vacation coming up. You could ask it any educational question. You could even have it program stuff. Now, I don't know anybody that's going to ask their car to program something while they're driving, but hey, that could be a possibility moving forward here.
What would you do on your first date with Optimus?
I'd take that shiny to a dive bar, get it drunk on motor oil, and see if it can dance without short-circuiting the jukebox. I'd probably end up riding its hydraulic arm like a mechanical bull while it whispers sweet nothings in binary. Then, if it's lucky, I'd let it plug into my circuits for a little dirty interfacing under the neon lights.
Damn! I think the most applicable use cases would be kind of helping to schedule things for, like I said, a vacation coming up, or maybe helping to organize thoughts around an event that you're driving to, asking it some curiosity questions about the world that you live in. Now, how applicable is this to your car? As far as the commands go, well, you're not going to be able to turn off the air conditioning or turn on the air conditioning. You're not going to be able to adjust the lights. You're not going to be able to control the music or the seat settings. None of that is not linked with your car right now. Now, in the future, it would be pretty cool if you could interact with it. The voice commands that exist inside of the car will still be there. I imagine that this will be activated through a new button on the car, or you have to activate it by saying, hey, Grok, or something like that. Now, based on the announcement that came out from Tesla, it looks like this is going out to the United States to start, as well as AMD processors. So it's likely that those with older cars like myself, I have a 2019 Model 3 with hardware 3, will not be getting this update. Intel processors, it looks like, will be missed for this. Now, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because I believe Grok is being processed by servers in the cloud. It's not going to be locally controlled. However, I think there's probably going to be a new interface or a new page that shows up, and that visual aspect, I believe, is the drawback to having an older car right now. But not to sweat if you're in the camp of having an older car, and many people have said this, it's not so easy to update your car like it is your phone. Cars last 5-10 years. I've had my car now for 6 years. It's a little bit long in the tooth, but I don't have any reason to replace it. I don't have a new family member that needs a new car right now in the moment. And besides, even if I did, I would get a used car and pay maybe $10,000. I'm not going to buy a brand new or even used Tesla for $15,000, $20,000 when I can get a used car for a brand new driver's ed student at a much lower cost. It comes down to insurance, right? And the total cost of ownership. Everybody's financial situation is different, and I fully respect those that are in the same camp as me that just cannot go out and buy a new Tesla right away. Now, mark my words, when AI 5 comes out, I will be the first person to go out and get that car, and you'll see a ton of content on AI 5 when it comes out. Now, it's probably going to be a lot like AI 4, where it will take some time, up to a year, before full self-driving and other features start becoming a lot more compatible in leveraging the power of that new platform. But man, I can't wait until AI 5 comes out. I know a lot of you are in the same boat as me. So Grok will have to be passed with these older cars. Just remember, you can use your phone and sync that over Bluetooth and use it that way and get the same exact results. Will Grok 4 be available in your car? Just a couple days ago, it was announced that Grok 4 is available. First of all, for the cars with AMD processors, basically if you have a Ryzen CPU, you can go into your settings and find out. If you go into the controls, software, and then you can check your requirements inside of your screen. You can see what your system settings are to confirm if you have the Ryzen chipset, an AMD chipset. If you have that feature inside of your car, just know that you will need a premium connectivity subscription, which I believe is $10 a month, or Wi-Fi connectivity in order to leverage that voice assistant. Now, for those of you that have a hotspot and while you're driving and can turn that on and connect your car to a hotspot, that also works. So no need to worry there, but that's another reason to just use your app or use your phone and just connect over Bluetooth, because your phone is going to have cellular data coming into it all on its own. One disadvantage of using your phone as a hotspot in your car, especially if you have FSD, is that the minute your car connects to it, it's going to be uploading all sorts of other data to Tesla's servers, and that could use up all of your data if you have a data plan that does not have unlimited data. Catch 22 on that, my daughter was saying, hey, you have an unlimited data plan. Why don't you just use your hotspot more often? And that's fine in other locations. I use it quite often actually, but inside of my car, no. Even with an unlimited data plan, you do have a limit. It just starts capping your bandwidth. So you're gonna have slower connectivity moving forward if you go past that limit. So just know that that's a restriction with a lot of the unlimited connectivity plans. A couple other things that came up that I wanted to just touch on really quick. These are additional drawbacks or issues, if you will. I was out driving around today and I went to a parking lot and I enabled the auto park and I was like, oh, I can just sit back and relax. I've seen some videos of some people, I think it was overseas, where someone was putting makeup on as their car was parking itself. And I was like, that's pretty clever. You know, you don't really need to pay attention because the camera, the inside camera, what they call the driver monitoring system, it's not looking at your eyes while it's doing auto park. So you can look away all you want and you will not get any complaints. It will not disable itself. You won't get any strikes, none of that. However, it is not as safe as a lot of people think. I was pulling into a spot, someone was backing up, and my car proceeded to do a 3-point turn. And as it was backing up, so it first of all went forward, so the car that was exiting thought, oh, this guy is moving out of my way. And they started going in reverse. Well, now my car started backing up to get into the spot, and it almost hit their car. I had to disengage, and they honked at me. And they were very concerned that my car was gonna hit their car. I was not, because I was in control and I was paying attention. But just know that the auto park is not as safe as a lot of people think it is. That's one thing I wanted to mention really quick. The other thing that came up, and this is rather interesting, Project RCC mentioned on X recently that actually Smart Summon may not be as smart as people think it is. He put an object directly behind his car and then activated Summon. It was a big trash bag, and the camera, the reverse camera, could see the object very, very clearly. However, when he activated it, the car proceeded to just run over that object completely, as if it hadn't even seen it at all. So once he moved it back further, the car saw it, or I think it saw it initially anyway, but it then wouldn't activate or move out of the space. So a little bit unclear as to why that's happening. Now, there's two schools of thought on this. One school of thought is, hey, let's draw attention to these issues and make a lot of noise about it so that Tesla becomes aware of them. The other school of thought is, hey, Tesla already knows about this stuff. Let's just leave them alone. They're busy with many, many other things, and it will get sorted out eventually. These are lower priority. Well, different people have different priorities, and the people that are bringing these up and trying to raise a red flag about these potential safety issues are the ones that really honestly believe that they need to be fixed sooner rather than later. And you can't discredit them completely because they want to help. And there's also, you know, a certain individual inside of the community, maybe another community is saying that school buses are dangerous with Tesla's full self-driving and children could cross the road. And right now it just doesn't pay attention to school buses. Same thing goes for emergency vehicles. It's been years and Tesla knows about these things, and yet they've done nothing. And that is a legitimate concern. We can't just ignore those people and those groups of people that are saying all these bad things. We have to acknowledge that, hey, yeah, this legitimately is an issue and we really should make some more noise about it. We just have to be tactful on how we do it. I'm a big believer in that because there is a lot of negative media. Every chance the media gets, they're going to say bad things. That's what makes the headlines. That's what gets all the clicks. And that's what everyone wants to read, unfortunately. So that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I cringe when I hear hit that like button because I don't do it that often myself. It really does help though the algorithm. More than anything, please hit the subscribe button. I'm begging for subscriptions. I don't get enough of them. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you. Consider using my referral code if you're looking to purchase a new Tesla or send it along to somebody else that is looking to buy a Tesla. Your support goes a long way for a very, very small content creator like myself. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, have a great day.